everyone, Leslie from Discovery Fabrics. Today we're going to do something that we have never done before. We're doing a video to talk about a new jacket that's been released. It's actually the Itch to Stitch Winterthur jacket, which is a really lovely kind of an all-purpose coat with many options, but it's lined. So we have never actually done a video on lining jackets. So I wanted to do a whole video telling you all about the fabrics you could use for the outside and the inside. It's actually really complicated because we have so many choices that it would become information overload. So we're going to break it down. We're going to do two separate videos, and this one is going to be on lining. So when you are lining a jacket, you have to think about what it is that you need to achieve. Are you living in an area where it's very windy, or is it cold, or is it warm and you need something that's very lightweight and cool to the touch? So you got to consider your needs, and you also have to consider the outer fabric that you're using. For example, if you are making a jacket and you want it just to be simply lined and you're getting all of your warmth from the outer fabric, then you could choose something very lightweight for a lining. But if you're in a very cold area and you want to really beef up that warmth factor, then you're going to want to have something a little bit heavier, a little bit more lofty, that is perhaps going to give you the warmth from the lining, either exclusively or in tandem with the fabric that you choose for the outer. So I'm going to talk to you about going sort of from light to heavyweight, a few choices that you could consider. And these are just a small selection of the fabrics that we have here at Discovery Fabrics. But here I have the first three that I'm showing you here are basically a windproof, very thin and cool to the touch. The one that you see first is a heat reflective lining. And while this will never keep you warm on its own, it actually is a lovely lining to either enhance the warmth that you have from the outer fabric, or to give you just that little bit of warmth that you get from the wind repellency. And of course it will reflect a certain amount of body heat, but you certainly couldn't stay warm with heat reflective lining on its own. The next is actually the same fabric. It's called Aerospace Tech. We have it in black and white, and this beautiful print that we call Windy Day, we actually had custom printed in Vancouver. It's very cool to the touch. You actually could use this as an outer fabric as well, and then you would want to line that with something warm. But I just wanted to show you how pretty that would be if you were to use it as lining with either black fabric or blue or a shade of purple. It's just super pretty and feels really lovely to the touch. Next up, we have a typical polyester quilted lining. You see this in a lot of ready to wear. And this is going to add a degree of warmth, but certainly it's not going to give you, middle of winter weather protection, but it does make a lovely lining. It's slick as well, which is always nice because it means it's not going to catch on your clothing and that kind of thing. Next we have a Polar Tech fleece, but it is specifically a Polar Tech lining fleece. So it does have that traditional fleece look to one side of it, and it's smooth on the other side. And to be honest, you can choose which side you want to use against your skin. It really makes no difference as far as the function of it, but it does give you an added warmth factor. And if you wanted to add a lot more warmth, then you're going to look at getting some loft in there. So you see a lot of fur-lined jackets. So this actually is made by Polar Tech as well. We have many styles of this. It's called High Loft. And basically anytime you have a loft or this fur, it traps air and creates an extra level of insulation, so that's always going to keep you warmer. High Loft is actually not a lining fabric. It's made for outerwear to make really beautiful warm pullovers and things like that, but it actually does double as a really nice warm lining. And last, I want to talk about a really special fabric. This is called Polar Tech Alpha Direct. Now, Alpha Direct was created for the US Special Forces, and it's actually designed to be an active insulation. So that means that If you line something with this, you're going to, and you're active, you're going to release excess body heat so you wouldn't overheat. But it does also allow you that bit of warmth if you stop for a period of time. So we find it's a really lovely lining, but it comes in 4 different weights and a couple of different styles. So if you're choosing one that is for an area where it is not very cold, you definitely would go with one of the lower GSM, grams per square meter, let's say 60 GSM or 90 GSM, or you could beef it up right to like 190 GSM if you live in a colder area. And we also have one Alpha Direct style that has merino wool on one side, so that wool would go against your skin and give you that extra insulation that you need. So just want to show you an example of a fleece jacket. This is one that we made a few years ago, and it's got the heat reflective lining, and as I mentioned, this does not make it super warm, but this is a very warm fleece that's on the outside, so it does certainly finish it beautifully and reflect body heat a certain amount. And I find this to be a really nice warm jacket for where we live on the west coast of Canada. It doesn't get particularly cold here in the winter, but that's a really snuggly jacket. I'm going to do a second video talking about all the different outerwear fabrics that you could use to make the beautiful Itch to Stich Winterthur jacket. And I'll go more into detail about the jacket itself in that video, so be sure to watch it. If you have any questions, you can ask them in our Facebook group, So Inspired by Discovery Fabrics. And you can also watch these videos once they're posted on the Discovery Fabrics YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.